Yo, what up, man? It's Derrick Matthews here at Back to the People Radio. I got the homie Jaydubb Tha Ruler in the building.
Yeah, all right.
And we had to bring him in, man. You know, this is the third interview of the interview series, and he just performed on a show with, was it Chris LaShawn at the Black Sheep, right?
Yeah.
It was all of Klass, I think, that performed as well. Y'all shut that whole stage down. There was
did.
like, I think y'all had at one point like 15 people on stage. There was like 50, 60, 70 people in front of the stage turning up. It was just a whole party, man.
Yeah, it was lit. It was lit for sure.
So was that the first performance that you guys did out the gate, or like because of COVID and all that, or how's that?
Actually, yeah, that was. So yeah, that was the first one. We actually just introduced Chris LaShawn to Klass. So
Okay, I thought so. He was talking about that. He was saying you guys were working together and stuff. So real quick before we get all into it, you make music yourself. You're part of Klass, right? And you just dropped the project recently.
Yep.
I think it was like not even a month ago, right, or a couple months ago.
It was in March.
In March, okay. So I was off on the timeline, but we have it playing on Back to the People Radio. I went there, grabbed some of the stuff. I saw the videos you've been working with Jay Angel. So what is out right now, and what are you working on currently when it comes to music?
So right now, that would have been. I think that was my third solo project. I actually did a collab project as well, going into COVID, which was pretty crazy, to see how to promote that with everybody, kind of changing the dynamic of everything, kind of changing right there. But so yeah, that's my fourth project. It's pretty tough. So yeah, that one was called "Fuck It, It's Up." Pretty much produced by my own producer Bubba Uno out of LA.
Okay.
So
Well, the whole project's fire. I actually I played it from front to back. And then I see the visuals you got with Jay Angel. How many visuals did you end up getting out? And not all of them are with Jay Angel, I think, right?
no, they're not. So I was also working with AML, Nate and Friend Zone. Friend Zone's a beast
Man.
at that direction. So I got a couple more videos in the stash, but I think right now, off of that project, I think 5 out of the 10 songs
Oh, shit. Okay.
all have videos.
So what's the plan? Are you about to do all 10? Like you can do a video for each one? Or how many videos you got in the vault right now?
I have 3 more videos in the vault right now. I'm actually working on production for another project right now too.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So I also have 3 other projects already ready too. So
Shit. Like, is that all solo? 3 other solo projects? Or-
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So you just, COVID happened and you was like, we just going to stack up the content.
Yeah.
You were just working.
I couldn't stop. Right. It was just like it was the best time to actually just go ahead and sit in the studio for real.
No, facts. Build the content. Because that's like all people really could do was everything got kind of shut down. I mean, even people have been losing their jobs and shit. So it kind of seemed like people were really creating and then also consuming the most during that time.
Yeah.
And it was like, it kind of kicked people in the ass to either start their own businesses or to really take what they're doing seriously. So, I mean, the last time I talked to you, you were working on a different project, I believe. I think it was a Klass joint effort a while back. So what have you been doing between that point and this point? Like during COVID, obviously stacking up content. What have you been doing since then? What's been up?
It's been kind of crazy. So we started getting the clothing line back up. A lot of Klass gear is about to start dropping here coming this fall. But I've actually started branching out to a lot of artists out of different states and stuff like that. So I've actually not only have I been working on my solo music, but I've also got other collab projects. So I ended up collabing with a couple artists in California. So we're going to have like our own collective EP. I don't know if you know who Scheme is. He was kind of popping more in 2013.
Like it sounds familiar, but there's so many people. I like DJ Scheme and then Scheme
Right.
Posse, so it kind of throws off. But so Scheme, where's he located at?
Inglewood.
Inglewood, okay. Dang, so that's like the LA area.
Yeah. I was in the heart, honestly. Yeah, I went out there, flew out there, worked with him in the studio. His producer's fire, KJ. He's actually from, I think it was Atlanta.
Okay.
And he was first working with Future before he moved to LA. And he met up with Scheme. Scheme, I started talking to Scheme through VVS, which was who was shooting my videos at first.
Right. Okay.
Which he shot that Phones video off of that last project as well.
That one's dope. That was dope. I like the way the colors were in that one too, and then like just the way it switched up as well. I mean, VVS, like I know that he was really active with Little Mac Diddy for a while, and a couple other Denver artists, and then I didn't really see too much from him during COVID, so I didn't know what he was doing. So you were able to connect with some people out in Cali, and then did you say New Mexico too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I've been heavy in California right now. I'm actually working with Scheme, Eastside K Boy. I've talked to a couple like Reem Riches. I've talked to him. There's this fire cat, Max Millie. I actually met him when I was doing that My Music stuff a couple years ago when I was going to New York and all that for those interviews. I met him. I met his dad actually. His dad was actually the keyboardist for Prince.
Oh shit! Okay,
Right.
so music runs in their family then.
So he came. I met him later on that day on some production type stuff, and then he was actually showing me some of his art. And I'm like, yo, this is fire. So we actually connected. We actually got on a boat when we was out there. So
Out in Cali?
Yeah.
All right, you gotta tell the story now. You're on a boat in Cali. You meet an artist you're gonna work with. His dad's the keyboardist for Prince.
Yeah.
What? How did all that transpire?
Honestly, so with the whole My Music stuff, they were actually trying to sign me because they were starting a label. That ended up actually falling through. We just had some issues that went down. Like it was legal issues with contracts and stuff like that, where things never got finalized. Shit. But I kept in contact with them, and honestly, it felt regular, but at the same time, I had to realize, what type of position I was in. I was sitting in rooms with billionaires that I didn't even know. We love your music. That's all it was. It was just, we love your music. We want you to be the face of this, and that. And I'm like, all right, I don't know who you are just sitting in my face. Then I get to searching their names while they out the room, and I'm like, all right, their net worth is crazy.
Oh, shit. That's crazy the way that, man, I swear, the way, like, billionaires and millionaires operate, even the clothes they wear and the cars they drive, they don't want people to know that they're, that high class. But that's sick, man. That's really dope. I know you were doing the New York stuff for a while. Sorry to hear that didn't work out, but it sounds like you've actually been able to branch out a little more, even in lieu of those opportunities. So it was funny. I was talking to Trey Cal earlier whenever he came here, and he said that show that you did in Germany a while back, that y'all linked at the club in Germany. Like, you guys were able to hang out.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, that's nuts. So you got two Colorado artists in Germany at the same time, hanging out, doing a show. How was that show? I know I got to talk to you a little bit about it, but we didn't really get to go into details.
So I'm trying to remember if that was the show that when I went on tour with Fetty, or if that was the one I went on with YFN Lucci. Because I went out there twice.
Yeah, twice. I remember that.
I'm thinking that was the YFN Lucci one. So that one was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. When we walked in, it was already a whole movie. Like the line was all. I'm like, it was way. I've never seen a line like this.
Like all the way wrapped around the building.
Yeah, and so we had our own security. We walking in, we walked through, and inside was already packed. It was hard to maneuver in there. So we was kind of in our own little section, and then when it was time for me to go up from my set, like. They had to keep clearing everyone out the way. This one girl was just jumping on my back. I'm like, yo, you don't even know who I am for real like that. Like,
that's
just see me on a flyer.
That's hella dope though. Because Trey Cal was talking about the culture difference. Did you notice like a culture difference overseas compared to here? Like as far as like how they accept the artists, or you know, just the way they accept the music. So like now performing in Colorado versus in Germany, what are like the two main differences you notice?
Well, here, I guess it's so many people do music here. So it's kind of like, we don't know if you're a good artist or not. So a lot of people come to shows and they just stare at you here.
Yeah, and then you get off and they're like, yo, that was tight. You're like, cool. You didn't put your hands up when I said put your hands up.
Right. Like I gotta squeeze you to work with me. But in Germany, they ready to turn up. They come ready. So it was awesome. They want to hear you, the music going, they dancing. You know, as long as they can feel your music, they with you.
That's dope.
Yeah, so the interaction is crazy. You get off the stage, everybody wants to take pictures.
So it's kind of like, since it's not oversaturated in Germany, they pretty much treat you the way that you would be treated here if it wasn't oversaturated. It's like you get that superstar status as they're learning who you are versus like having to prove yourself.
Exactly.
Like how it is here.
Yep. So it's like if you're on that stage, they know you have status. That's how they treat you over there in Germany. Like, oh, he's status.
You gotta be someone to be here and be up there.
Right.
I got you, man. It's oversaturated as hell in the U.S. I mean, Colorado, I think is just like any other market right now. But do you feel like it's because you've been to New York? You know, you've done the interviews in New York. You've had the meetings in New York. You've done the studio time in California. You've had the meetings in California. Comparing places that already have a market for music to Colorado. Like, what does Colorado feel like it's kind of missing compared to these spots?
Unity. You can find the misconnecting unity in other places too.
Right.
But they just work it out. It's like they find ways to like source it. I mean, I know a few people here that try and source something different. Like, say, you wanted to do some music, but you felt like the music didn't really connect. But you also do clothes or something. You try and maneuver that way, just somewhere within business to keep that open. I feel like here, it's just that it's very disconnected. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to try and one up somebody here.
I feel that.
And it's like, why? Like, just if you came together, you could be, stronger. In New York, I was in a studio session with Nico Brim, which is JoJo Brim's son, which is, I think it's like a stepson of Diddy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I'm just in there just rapping with him and stuff. And what is that artist's name? She's fire. It's a female artist, but she comes.
There's not that many of them either,
She's tight. I forgot her name, but she came into the studio session. I didn't know who she was, and she's all like, she comes in, sees Nico Brent. She's like, "Hey King, how you doing? I came to come check y'all out." We start playing the music. She's like, "Yo, this is y'all." Like, yeah. DJ Hood Kid comes in. He's like, "Y'all just made this today." Like, yo, this is crazy. Like,
they're just randomly coming into the studio.
Session. But here it's like, you go to a studio session, you don't see nobody. Everything is more like it's private. But a lot of the buildings, people, it's like less people open in studios there. There's studios, but everyone goes to those studios. And there's different rooms of studios in there. Mm-hmm. So if they hear something, they'll just walk into your session.
Shit.
You can find that in New York. You can find that in Cali. You find that in Houston. Like
there's some Denver ones that have like a Studio A and Studio B, but I've never heard about like, Trev Rich walking in on, DNA Picasso or something, during sessions. When you say unity though, I feel like unity kind of goes under this umbrella and it gets, I wouldn't say misconstrued, but I think people are starting to get a different definition of what unity means. Right. What do you mean by the unity? Because I know like some people here say we need unity. I need artists to come to my shows or buy my tickets. We need to buy each other's tickets. We need to play each other's music. And I feel like in these other markets, that's not necessarily the unity that goes on. But I mean, like,
right.
What kind of unity are you
so
talking about?
I would say overall, artists, wherever you go, if you support an artist, you actually support them. You're going to be like, yo, I'll buy your ticket. It doesn't matter where you're at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you had a show, I come to your show like, yo, I'm here. I'm at your show. But it's more like all of music. So like when you're talking like engineers, you're talking DJs, like DJing is big in these other spots, these other hubs. Here, a lot of the DJs, they don't know the type of power that they have. You know what I'm saying? They just know that they spinning, and then they listening to the owner like, oh, we only playing top 40.
Right.
No, you go anywhere else, they're playing the local music, and if it's trash, they turn it straight off, whether you pay them or not.
Oh, I got you.
But they'll play it.
I mean, like local New York music to us is kind of like almost like national music,
right?
But I do see like DJs like Jordan Kraft is really doing a lot. K Chiva's doing a lot, and even like City Hollow and the Smoke in the City. It's like platforms are starting to kind of pop up in Colorado. Right. Mile High Minute's been kind of taking off up in Denver. What would you say we need more? Like, what do we need more of besides unity here in Colorado? Like, what's the reason why Colorado hasn't popped? If you had to put it in 3 top reasons why nothing's happened out of this damn state.
Egos.
I saw Shells look up. He's like, I got some ideas.
I can say it in one. It's ego. That's it.
Egos. Okay.
Yeah. We have our own culture. That's the thing. But I hear what he's saying because, as cultures, you go somewhere else and, you could feel like this is like New York. You have your own culture there.
They got
like
their sound, their style, the food they eat, places
here
they hang
you
out.
can find so many different types of genres of music. Everybody's different not
sounds.
Nobody's really on the same level. And that's the thing too. Like, what would you say? Like, they're not establishing like, it's almost like your own culture. Like he's saying, it's like you're not establishing that here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone wants to try and start something new, which it's not bad. So once Mile High Minute popped up, we started seeing more different podcasts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had the Smoke in the City, then you had the Rap Picasso Media, then you had Turn Up TV, then you know what I'm saying?
Now you got Back to People Radio.
Right. Which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I honestly would like to see more of them kind of combined. Like you guys know of different things. You know, different shows that's going on. You know, of different events that's going on. You know, coming together like, hey, I feel like if we get a team, like, you know what I'm saying, if you had the Back to the People and you had Smoke in the City and you had Mile High Minute all at this one event and all had your guys' tents up and stuff like that. You guys are working together to get these artists through, doing interviews through all of them. You guys are now reaching different channels to different people, but with the same type of event.
Well, I mean, that's what you see at like these red carpet events. You see the BET booth, you see the Complex booth and all that. It's like, and you can even see sometimes in the background, like I think of the Migos almost fighting academics. Whenever he pops up, you can see E Hollywood is like
right
kind of in the corner, talking to somebody else.
Exactly.
All right, I see what you mean. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
It's like we segregate ourselves out here for no reason.
I think it's on purpose too. I mean, it's like everybody wants to be a gatekeeper,
right?
And they only want to let certain people in, and they're like, "I'm not going to let you in unless you do this for me, or this happens, or you acknowledge that." But the other thing I feel like separates Colorado from established markets, or even me and Troy Good were talking about this Colorado Springs versus Denver thing, which has been going on since the 90s, and I don't know if that's ever going to stop. But
that's tough.
The thing I noticed, and what I've noticed just where I'm at in the market here, is there's not that many artists that focus on, all right, I'm going to work on a quality product, I'm going to package this quality product, and then I'm going to market and advertise this quality product. It's all on this like high level of standard. Like it's going to sound great, it's going to look great, and then I'm going to really push it out to the masses. Now, that's what you do with your music. And it's like, that's what helps separate artists that are like, okay, this guy's doing stuff, this guy's doing it as like a hobby.
Right.
Would you say that the business side is kind of something that Colorado as a state, or Colorado Springs, is falling behind on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even just say Colorado Springs. In Colorado, generally, it's like, it's almost like a popularity contest, honestly. It's like, oh, I put out this, and the people that surround me are going to, like, that's what they're hoping is just going to boost them to some type of high status, when it's only like when you over in that area. Like you can have, so Trev Rich be arguably one of the top artists in Colorado.
Yeah.
He can come down here and only have 5 people at a show, which is crazy because nobody even knows who Trev Rich is.
I got you.
The more people that know who Trev Rich are artists rather than regular people.
Right.
So, and then, vice versa. Troy Good can go up to Denver and have 2 people at a show. You know what I'm saying? But he can come down here and, have 100, sell out Black Sheep or something.
I've noticed that too. Is that a lot of the artists that I was like, all right, so-and-so has an ego, because down here they're a big fish in a little pond, but then they go an hour up the street and it's like, okay, now you're nobody. So like, trying to establish that connection to where you're well known as a state artist. I think that's what that's what the shift needs to go from being a Colorado Springs artist, being a Denver artist, to being a Colorado artist. But I mean, speaking of like, camps and speaking of like teams and stuff, Klass is the team that you're a part of and all that. Who's all on that? What is Klass? Like, for people that don't know, what is it? Who is it? What do you guys do?
I got you. Yeah, Klass is, it's a lot. So I mean, it's a clothing brand. It's a movement. The movement's more Klass to the gang. That's KSTG. That's me. That's Ty Klass, Jay Swift. I got K-Land Shells right here. L's Music. Chris LaShawn, Pharaoh Hicks, City Hollow. Did I catch everybody? I think I did. Yeah. So it's about 7 of us right now.
Okay. I mean, that is quite a lot to to keep up with.
Right.
And then I'm sure everyone has their own homies that they have as well. Because are you guys all know each other, all grew up, all homies together? Or?
No.
Okay.
A lot of them, everyone's pretty much connected to me.
Gotcha.
So I've kind of put who I felt has the work ethic and has the love for the music and the art of it to actually push. And then I'm just trying to actually help them do what they got to do as well, because I know, like you said, I know a little bit more on the business side, and a lot of people don't know that. I mean, I got a couple of artists in there that don't know how to maneuver through Apple Music and stuff like that. Yeah. Different things like that. But that's what a team is supposed to be for, to help elevate each other.
Plus, you gotta be like so multifaceted nowadays in the music industry. You have to be a businessman, be a PR agent, booking agent, and all this stuff. So having a team does make it easier to kind of give each people roles, or How do you guys maneuver that?
We kind of play it by ear right now. We really try and bounce a lot of ideas off each other. But I think a lot of the problems is there's so many different types of pretty much the same media, like TuneCore.
Yeah.
TuneCore is the same thing as DistroKid, is the same thing as same thing as United Masters. They just all have their own little tweaks on royalties or how to, what type of payment goes out.
It reminds me of like cell phone services. Like you get AT&T, you get Hulu. If you get Verizon, you get this. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot packaged in each one. So you're saying like what you can do is you can bring to the table of the team is you're showing them some of the experience and even the business stuff you've picked up traveling to New York and Cali and going to Germany and all this stuff.
Right.
What's the next move as a collective?
We actually have a joint tape that we're coming out with. We wanted to try and kick that off beginning of this summer, but we wanted to go back and focus a little bit more on the quality part. We were just kind of just knocking out tracks left and right, and it was like
that one's done. Moving on, that one's done.
Right, and then we want to actually get all the visuals ready as well. That's getting everybody's schedule on the same timing and making sure that everything is being placed the right way. But right now, we're moving as a unit to all of these shows, because a lot of people, like you're asking, who is KSTG? You know what I'm saying? So we've been hitting every show together. Like, you see me, you see them.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw you guys all were mobbing there. I mean, like, even like I said, the stage was packed, and then even the crowd was packed. And so it was kind of hard. Like, I saw Shells there, and I saw, you're up there, Chris LaShawn. I saw Pharaoh Hicks, too. But there's a couple of people I didn't recognize that I was like, fuck, I should probably go talk to people and go network. Like, you guys have a deep camp, so it is going to take a while for people to catch on with like, all right, that name is that person's face and this person is that person.
Right.
So you guys have an event tonight. Y'all are about to mob too, right?
Yep. Yeah. We got the all white with a splash affair. It's the 6th annual one held by Kush alumni, 719, 303 Promotions, and 719 Nightlife.
Okay.
So yeah, they're putting this on. It's gonna be tonight at 9 to about 2.
It starts at 9?
Yeah.
Damn, some of these shows be going late, boy.
Well, because it's more of a party, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
okay, I got you.
I'm just going to be ending up performing there. I'm the performing artist. So.
All right. So it's not necessarily like that concert setup. It's like party with special guests that are, all right, that's what's up, man. That's awesome. So is it just you that's performing tonight on that? I mean, the whole team's pulling up, and I'm sure you guys got songs together and stuff.
Right.
So you all gonna perform, or is it just you doing your solo songs? Because it sounds like you got a lot of them.
I do. I'm gonna go up there. I actually got Shells on my set tonight. I just kept it real short and sweet. I really wanted to turn up with the fellas and network. This is gonna be more of a networking event for us.
Gotcha.
So we go up there, do our little spiel or whatever, but then we wanna connect with as many people as we can. And that's why, like you were asking, everyone has their own different, strengths and weaknesses. And one thing that like Shells is really good at, he's good at connecting with people, being outside. And me, I'm more of a conservative type of person. I like to be in my section chilling. he likes to do all the mingling, so that helps me get out of my shell a little bit. So does Swift. Swift's really good at talking to people. Okay. So this is gonna be a great opportunity, and it's gonna be a great opportunity for City to get his podcast in there and get to talking to a lot of these promoters and these different.
I need to get him in here, man. It seems like that. I saw you guys were on that podcast, right? You guys were on Smoking the City.
I haven't been on there yet. Shells has.
Okay.
I don't think any of the other artists have been yet, but we're planning on it.
That's dope,
but
man.
He's moving really well with that right now.
Yeah, so. I noticed, and then linking with 96.1, and then I always get the damn words mixed up, but I know it's like the Beats Eat and Sneaks or
Beat Eats and Sneaks.
I always fuck that up, and it's only me. Like everyone else gets it right. I always fuck it up every time. I'm gonna go to the one at the Havana Grill this Saturday coming up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of new, right? These platforms that are coming out.
So this is probably gonna be it's gonna be like their 5th, right?
Yeah, it's like the 6th one.
5th or 6th, yeah.
I just haven't made it out to any of them.
So that event is really dope. How it came together, it just grew really fast. It's more of a networking type of thing as well. We have a lot of art. We got people selling shoes. We got people actually doing like drawings and stuff like that.
Clothing lines,
cutting hair. all that. But yeah, I'll actually be performing at that one as well. Soul City and I think
Sick.
Friend Zone.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Friend Zone's gonna do. I don't know. I haven't ever seen him perform. I know he had a show with somebody at Sunshine a while ago, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen him
What
perform.
was that
yet.
guy's name? Darko, I think.
Yeah,
his
like
name.
Bobby Darko. I
Yeah,
think.
tight. The performance was crazy. I actually got to see some of the footage. I didn't get to catch the show because I was in Denver at the time. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw the footage too. I was like, man, they had the crowd jumping, going crazy.
Yeah, it was tight.
So I mean, I'm excited for what's gonna happen now that COVID. Oh man, actually, I can't even say what I was gonna say. I was gonna say COVID's over, but it's fucking not. So I mean, now that it seems like it's getting to the point where a lot of these businesses and people are either like, all right, man, it's gonna be here forever. We still need to live, or they're ready to go back under the rock. So with COVID allowing shows right now, or shows happening, are you guys planning on hosting any of your own shows, or what's the move with that? Are you guys just going to be getting on like the parties and these networking events?
No, honestly, we do want to start. We do want to throw our own show. We've been talking about it, but it's kind of been like a, cat and mouse type of thing, trying to see what's going on with the COVID stuff, see if it's going to shut down or not, because we do want to maximize on that opportunity. Like we said, we have our own lineup of people. Like we can go.
Yeah, I was like, you guys don't even need to get any openers, man. You could all just be the team performing the whole time.
Right.
That's dope.
So yeah, we were thinking probably like the Black Sheep, or maybe the Sunshine. I mean, we only got two.
I was about to say, we
right
only
now.
got two venues now.
Right.
I heard there's like that Shady Lounge or whatever, but I kind of consider that the same as there's a spot used to be called Royal Castle.
Is that the same spot?
Nah, it's different. Okay. It's different. I think Shady Lounge is on like the west side, but it's like kind of the same layout. It's a small little bar that has, just a sound system and a stage in the corner. And I mean, it does the job, which is cool. But that's the other thing that's weird to me is, me and Troy Good were talking about the lack of like community with the radio station and clothing lines and local businesses and venues. It's like the fact venues aren't popping up, or I know K Chiba's just starting to tap in with the local market, because when you're working with FM, they're really strict about what they can bring in and who they can have around. So it's crazy to see that Colorado Springs, we have to create all this stuff ourselves right now.
Right.
But at the same time, that's where like a culture can kind of blow up. If you look at New York and LA, where they created their own avenues and then it went to mainstream instead of the mainstream coming down.
Right.
Kind of take a couple steps back. How did you start making music? Where did this come about?
Well, so I've been making music for about 10 plus years now. 10 going on 11. I was more into poetry in high school. And then my best friend had passed away. And so I stopped writing poetry. And the only thing I wanted to do was just listen to music. I was walking around campus freshman year and just headphones on.
Just like in your own world.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. And I just listened to stuff. And then I started writing my own. And I think I recorded my first studio song. It was either February or March of 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like you've been doing it, so you've been doing it professionally for 10 years. That's what you're saying. Okay. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, I've been doing music, I've been writing, but they haven't like done a show or got in the studio. So you've been doing it professionally for 10 years. What are some key points you wish you would have known then, or even like in 2013 that now, about just the music industry, the business, like?
Pretty much to not hold back. I mean, I still struggle with that. I mean, I have so many songs in the vault where it's like,
I like how you said that. I was like, you got 3 projects, bro.
Right. Yeah, so I hold a lot of my music, but for what? Like, I'm just listening to it myself. I push it out to the people and they can see me grow as well, rather than them always seeing what I want them to see. Rather than, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have released a lot of my music that I made in 2011 and 2012, those earlier years, everybody would know how much I've grown. Where I've just released my first project in 2018, and I'm listening from everything from 2011 to 2017. Like I'm a whole different artist from then, but I can see my growth. But a lot of people are just seeing the growth that they're hearing from 2018.
Got you.
So,
well, I mean, even it was some meme. You know how Instagram gets with their fucking insightful, inspiring memes. It was something about like what you did in the dark was practice, and now it's time to shine. So I mean, like, do you feel like you'd be further along if you did that, or do you think you'd be in the same spot? I mean, at that point, it sounds like you were able to get that experience and that repetition to get better, and then now it's like game time. I'm gonna showcase it, or do you feel like you missed an opportunity?
Well, I would never say I missed the opportunity, but I can say that I held myself back from different opportunities just because I didn't have that music out, and I wasn't networking the way I should. Because 2018, I'm dropping my first project. I started talking to these labels within those next couple years, and a lot of them are looking at numbers like, oh, why are your numbers low? Like, you saying you've been doing music for this long, like, why is it? And it's like, it was that disconnect from, me not pushing it like that, like, oh, it was just a hobby type thing. When in doubt, I was actually really in the studio like every day.
So where it was past the hobby.
Right. I mean, I was already doing features with T Wayne and stuff like that before I even.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Shit. So like, with you doing this long, and even like helping out the team where you can, and everyone's playing their own role, but you're like, hey, I have this experience here. Let me share this knowledge. What are some tips and advice you can give to independent artists, whether it's Colorado Springs or Denver or Colorado, or just artists in general? What's some advice you would give them?
Don't be afraid to fail. That's the biggest one, because I think as artists, we try and get real nitpicky with what we do, what we release. It's like, don't be afraid to fail, because you'll never learn from none of your mistakes. If you always strive to be the best at what you're doing, but not everything's going to hit to the people, but learn from what didn't work, because, I released my first project in 2018 and it grew to big numbers. The next project that I dropped in 2019, the Anchor Dreams, it didn't do as well. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, what did I do differently? And it almost made me want to, stop. Like, I don't understand. Like, my numbers were going crazy. This one's not so much. Like,
so you had to like go back to the drawing board and either
right.
kind of like look at the analytics, man. Right. Everyone throws that word around, analytics, but it's like, figuring out, why it caught on, or who's listening, where they're listening, what are they listening on. I feel like a lot of artists miss that. I mean, I miss that shit myself. Like, I don't sit down and be like, all right, my demographic is blah, blah, blah. So it comes down to like, that's where I was talking about that multifaceted, wearing different hats. It's like you almost gotta be a marketing expert at that point, because you got to figure out who is your target demographic.
Being independent, yes, definitely.
Or you got to pay money for it.
That's true.
It's expensive.
But with that though, I'm saying, with the don't be afraid to fail. Like, so I was just on an interview with Southwest Alliance DJs out of Denver. Well, they're everywhere, but the main core is in Denver. Right. That got me onto the show, because that Wait video that I just dropped with Jay Angel, that actually came from that project in 2019.
Really?
Yeah. So I went back and listened to that tape over, and then started shooting videos for that. Okay. And it's like, go back and don't be so quick to move on from a lot of your stuff too.
There's some hits in there. There's probably some gems.
Yeah. But a lot of people, you drop something and you want to, oh, okay, that's done with. We're gonna drop something more. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's done with. Don't be afraid to go back and visit some of that stuff, because like you're saying, if you leave some stones unturned, you kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
It's funny because every artist we've had in today have talked about that. Troy Good's talking about releasing a single and pushing it for an entire year, but doing smaller projects month to month. That's his plan. Trey Cal was talking about some songs he did that he never put out, and he wants to like go back, do videos for, and push those. And now you're talking about you already did that. So it's like, do you feel like maybe the numbers from 2019, maybe you didn't give them the push you gave the 2018 project, or what did you end up finding out when you went back to the drawing board?
I ended up talking to my team a lot, and they kind of shed light on, my promotion wasn't as heavy as it seemed like it was for the Year to 7. The Year to 7 seemed like I was hitting it on different avenues everywhere I could. They was like, Anchor Dreams, you didn't have merch for it. You didn't, it just felt like I didn't push it as much. And then, so that's why I took a little bit more time when I dropped Fuck It, It's Up. I actually had merch boxes. I did a lot more videos, visuals, going crazy. I didn't even shoot a visual for Anchor Dreams. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go back and do that.
And that's why you're doing it now.
Yeah.
Got you. So the song Greed, is that on Year of the Seven?
Yes.
That song was everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
That song, it was literally, that's why whenever you brought up that you did more pushing for the Year of the Seven, I even saw that myself. That song was literally everywhere. So what's like the next song that you're gonna, like, what's the next song that's gonna be the Colorado anthem? Because I feel like Greed was on every fucking playlist, on every radio station, everywhere I turn. What's the next song that you want to push to make that? Or that you feel like has the potential to be that?
It's tough because, you know, me going back and touching a lot of these. So the game's changing. So one thing I have noticed is when you have those visuals, it kind of brings things more to light, what people want to really gravitate to. I'm always asking because, you know, I get DMs and stuff all the time, and people are like, "Yo, your music's fire." So I'm like, "Okay, so what you listen to?" Because I know most of the time, you know, they're gonna say Greed because, you know, if they look my name up, that's what's gonna be the first thing that pushes. Pops up. But, you know, when I drop some of these videos, there's actually some people that go and listen to every project that I have. And so then I just, you know, try and connect with people a little bit more to see what they love.
Man, you know, like those companies call those like focus groups. So you're kind of conducting your own focus group by doing that. You know, you're like, what did you like? What didn't you like? You know, that type of scenario. That's fucking smart as hell. That's hella smart.
Oh, it's tough. But so I mean, you hear different things. So when I put out a visual, people you can see when people like, so Wait right now is probably looking like my next song that I really need to push. People love the Came With It video that I just dropped.
Yeah, that's the one we used for your video flyer.
Right.
Dude, fire, bro. Fire.
But a lot of people love the Wait. But I also when I'm doing my shows, I bring songs from all projects, unreleased stuff, and I'm literally focused on the crowd and their reactions, how they're moving, because if the music's making them feel, they're gonna love it anyway. Right. Like this last show that I did on Thursday with YBN, I performed a whole new song, and everyone was asking for that song after I got off the stage. Where was it? Yeah, I'm like, it was unreleased. It's unreleased. So I had a lot of people follow me. I'm like, yo, stay tuned. So I might, you know, that might be the next one. We don't ever know. Single. But the thing is pushing it and letting the people kind of decide. And once I can see something kind of like peaking, I'll put a little bit more pressure on it. More pressure. Because a lot of people love the song Pressure that I dropped last summer. You know what I'm saying? Everything kind of works in spurts. Right. So it's kind of like when you see it, hit it.
She's talking about striking when the iron's hot, and you got to figure out where it's gonna spark up at. So I wanted to ask you about the YBN Namir show. Yeah. Because I saw footage of you in the fucking crowd, and you on the stage, and the stage was packed, and the crowd's jumping. I was just like, I had no idea what was happening because I wasn't able to make it. Right. I have two kids now. I had one kid whenever, one kid all the way. Thanks. I got two kids now, so it's hard for me to go places and shit. Right. So how was that show, man? I mean, that shit looked cracking.
It was lit. I'm not gonna lie. At first, it was a little tough. It was a younger crowd. They didn't know who I was fully. I went up there, did my thing, had my team behind me, but after the first song, because I actually came out with Greed, so I knew that I was gonna catch ears in the first place. Right. So, and then I kind of went to some of my other music, and you know, getting them to interact. By that time that the video that you guys seen, it was probably like the fourth song in. I pretty much had the crowd.
You said fuck it and jumped off stage.
Yeah, I jumped off stage. I had Klass. He was throwing water. Shells was screaming. It was real lit. I had a team member Kabir. He was on stage dancing, doing his New York thing. It was really lit.
Man, so you guys had like people at all points. Like if you're whatever the crowd was looking to, there was a show going on.
Right, and the thing was, so that video that you seen was actually towards the end. I had got off the stage, jumped in the crowd, and was walking around. They were all still videotaping the stage. They didn't know who was rapping. Oh shit! Yeah, so they looking at them like, yo, who's rapping? You know, they doing the hook and stuff. So I started walking behind people and I started tapping them and stuff like that, and they get to looking like, yo, wow, who's on me? And then all of a sudden somebody was like, yo, he's right here. And then everybody just turned, all the lights just hit me.
What? That's nuts.
And then you seen that one lady came and started dancing and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I saw that.
She turned it up. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw that one, bro. I was like, does he know her? Like,
I actually I went to college with her, but I didn't know she was gonna do that.
That's crazy.
I was chilling.
So like, we don't get shows like that very often out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we usually get the same tours. You get Stevie Stone 3 times a year. You get Cess Crew. You get man, I don't even know who else. It's always artists that either they're still kind of underground and they've been on this level that they're on. I mean, it's not like they're not popping. I mean, they're living off their music and shit. But it's always like the same artist 2 to 3 times a year or once a year. You got 10 openers or something like that, or 11 openers, and then 150 people are there. So like every once in a while you get these gyms like the YB and the Mirror show, or what was another national show that came out that was ridiculous? It's hard to think now because of COVID, because we haven't had shows in a long time. But do you think, like, does Colorado Springs need more of that? Do we need more of these artists that are already bubbling or popping right now?
I would say yes, to build the culture, because we don't have that here. But I understand why some of these older artists are coming, because honestly, as a promoter, you're going to get money from that. It's kind of tough bringing these new cats in because a lot of them are only targeted to the kids. And half of the time, you don't know if the kid's going to show up or if there's going to be fights. So it's kind of tough.
The bar option kind of gets taken out too.
All the way out of there.
I feel like also what sucks is like the Colorado Springs market when it comes to the venues. Now that we only have 2, we only got 2 to talk about. Like Sunshine Studio, you can probably fit 1,000 people inside.
Yeah.
1,500, and that might be pushing fire marshal code. And Black Sheep's about 500, 600. Now you're pushing fire marshal code. Right. So some of these guys, they cost so much that even if you got 600 or 1,500 people in there, the tickets would be $30, $35. And I mean, we see what the fuck's happening to the housing market in Colorado Springs alone.
Everything's up, yeah.
They're saying 80916 is literally the #1 housing market in the nation right now.
Really?
As far as like realty, like buying real estate. And I'm like, 80916, I was like, that's the #1 place I usually know people get shot at. So I thought it was crazy. Houses are moving off of that.
Right.
But it's like, what do you feel about the Colorado Springs economy compared to, the hip hop culture? Like, how can you get a scene when no one has money because it's so damn expensive? Or do you think that's a problem?
I mean, it depends. Like, are you talking about nationally or are you talking about locally when you're talking about music scene?
I'll say locally. Because, I mean, Denver, we know costs more than the Springs to live in, but it seems like their scene is kind of healthy over there. Colorado Springs scene seems to be like hit or miss.
One thing I was talking with my team, which I encourage other teams to do as well, give back to the communities. That's going to be the best way to get everybody to attach to something, to like a music culture. When they actually see these artists out there doing it, I mean, they might not know who you are, but they're going to know who you are after that. I mean, I went and did that Juneteenth festival. A lot of people didn't know who I was. So then I did that, and, I had older listeners out there. They were asking me.
That was like a whole different demographic.
It was.
What we're used to.
Yeah, so it was definitely different. And they was like, how long you been doing music? It was like, it was crazy. And they're like, you're born and raised here. And I'm like, yeah.
So then they were surprised because they're like, how come I don't know?
Right. And for the longest time, I mean, you would only hear, Black Pegasus is doing a toy drive, or you never hear about any other artists coming out and doing something on barbecue or anything like that. So me and my team, we've been coming up with different things. We were actually supposed to do a back to school event. It actually ended up folding just because we couldn't get everything in time. But things like that where we can actually get people involved, and that's how you can make your the local scene kind of grow.
So that's what you meant about, like, you guys are working on doing your own shows, doing your own events, but you also got to keep the pulse on COVID too, because
right,
even getting people together.
Sometimes it's not even about the music.
Right.
It's just about the connection with the people, and if people see that you're connecting with them, like treating them like like you're all regular. A lot of people they get that disconnect where they're like, oh, he's an artist, he doesn't really care about what's going on with the communities and stuff like that. It's like,
or you're trying to sell them something all the time.
Right. So if you come like, oh, look, I'm giving food to the homeless, or anybody that want to come, I got sandwiches, just come down to the park and rec or whatever, and come get you a sandwich. Come bring your kids. We got inflatables, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, but as long as you're doing stuff like that, I feel like that'll be the best way to connect to the communities.
Okay. No, I agree. 100%. 100% agree. So we talked about a lot of stuff, man. I hope I didn't leave anything out. So what are some final thoughts you'd want to say before we sign off of here?
Man, I love what y'all doing here. I'm glad you guys bringing it back to the people back. I didn't know what happened.
COVID, man.
Yeah, I understand. The RTU, all that. Everybody out there that's chasing your dream, keep chasing it. A lot of people don't make it till they feel like it's too late. So never give up, and stay in tune with your mental health. I think that's been becoming a bigger issue with the whole COVID and everything. A lot of keeping yourself distanced from other people in your own room. Make sure you're in tune with yourself, and still stay in touch with some of your friends. I know they out there and everything. Whatever you got to do.
Once in a while.
Yeah, I know that's becoming a big thing, but just keep it popping. KSCG got everybody back. If anybody needs anything, you just reach out. We got our business page. Anything.
So as we sign off here, I got your handle up there as Jaydubb Tha Ruler. Where else can they find like your music, your social media, the camp social media? You said you got the business page. Go ahead and drop the links, man.
Yeah. So if you want to find me directly, everything is at Jaydubb Tha Ruler. That's JaydubbThaRuler. If that wasn't long enough. No. And then, if you want to find the gang, just at Klass or at Klass Bros, as with a K, KLASS, KLASSBROS. You can reach out to any of us. You'll see their handles on the page as well. And right now we are actually getting a website developed where you can find each and every individual artist on Klass to the Gang, their music, their links, and everything like that. So definitely tap in with us. We're gonna tap back. We love talking to the people. So
hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through. Jaydubb Tha Ruler
Appreciate
in
you
the
having
building.
us,
Back to the People Radio. Hey, man, you guys make sure you tap in with him. He has his record. The music video just came out, like not even that long. I think I posted it that day that it came out. So it just came out. Solid visuals.
I can't with it. You niggas, I got it on me, don't get touched. Can't hear what you saying, cause money my language. Before you speak, please bring it up. What you say? I can't judge. And that nigga look here sus. Don't get it twisted, nigga, don't get painted.